But first tonight, the Prime Minister was forced to admit today that ISIS brides are returning to Australia. He says because it's unsafe for them in Syria. He tried to worm his way out of allegations that he'd misled Parliament over this very issue. Yesterday, Albanese implied ISIS brides were not coming to Australia. He labelled reports inaccurate. But facing accusations he'd misled the Parliament, today he tried to spin his denial to mean that the government wasn't providing assistance to ISIS families.
Prime Minister, the New South Wales Police have publicly confirmed they are working with the Commonwealth on the return of ISIS brides to Australia. Prime Minister, are you calling the New South Wales Police Deputy Commissioner David Hudson a liar?
The questions that were asked yesterday went to whether the Australian government was giving support to this cohort. I confirm that the Australian government is not providing assistance to this cohort.
And that's a claim that's highly questionable. Practically, it can't possibly be true. But then Albanese seemed to confirm that the ISIS brides would be returning, justifying it by saying how unsafe it was for them in Syria. Never mind that radicalised individuals might pose a safety risk to Australia.
Syria is an increasingly unstable region. Our security, as well as our intelligence agency, you would expect, will continue to work to ensure they're prepared for any Australian citizen who comes home. Long may the opposition continue to get their questions from Sky After Dark.
Of course, he has to have a crack at Sky News because we actually hold him to account through our journalism. But these aren't just any Australian citizens, as you heard Albanese there try to claim. These are exceptional circumstances. These are the family members of death cult members who decapitated Western journalists and Christians for theatre. So Albanese won't deal with the question directly about the return of ISIS brides, even though there is significant community concern about this, and he does need to address it. Clearly, the ISIS families will need many forms of government assistance to enter Australia. The children cannot return without birth certificates and travel documents, including passports, and some of the children were born in Syria, so they would need to apply through Tony Burke's Home Affairs Department, also DFAT, for citizenship by descent, and then apply for a passport. So this is the sort of assistance the Albanese government would be providing. Now, coalition senators tried to ask questions around this very issue today.
Will the Minister be clear and honest with the Australian people and confirm whether individuals associated or formerly associated with ISIS are returning to Australia or have returned to Australia in recent months? Yes or no?
The Prime Minister has addressed this issue, and of course the Foreign Minister yesterday did address the issue extensively.
Is any government department involved in the issuing of birth certificates or travel documents to children born overseas to parents who are Australian citizens and are associates of ISIS?
The situation in Syria is becoming increasingly unstable. Our security agencies have been and continue to monitor the situation to ensure they are prepared for any Australian from this cohort returning home. And again, I can repeat what Senator Farrell has said, which is the Australian government is not providing assistance and is not repatriating individuals in Syrian IDP camps.
It seems like the government is being overly evasive, because it is a decision they have made to allow the ISIS brides into the country, and they should be upfront about it and answer questions about whether or not there are national security concerns, whether any individuals are on a terror watch list, and if any are still radicalised. We also need to know what de-radicalisation programs, if any, have been implemented in the camps in Syria. And will there be further de-radicalisation programs run in Sydney and Melbourne? And who will fund them? And how much will all of the repatriation and police monitoring cost taxpayers? But the Albanese government refuses to engage with any of these serious national security questions. And Albanese claimed in Parliament yesterday that Liam Mendy's front page report in The Australian suggesting ISIS brides were returning home was incorrect. He wouldn't engage at all with the issue. Have a look.
I refer to reports in The Australian that government officials are helping to bring ISIS terrorist brides to Australia. What actions has your government taken to guarantee the safety of Australians if these people return?
Call to the Prime Minister.
Those reports are not accurate.
Is the Prime Minister aware of any info that suggests ISIS brides are seeking to return to Australia, and is your government making preparations to receive them?
Call to the Prime Minister.
I refer to my previous answer.
But then last night on this program, we revealed that top police commissioners confirmed they were in negotiations with the Commonwealth to repatriate the ISIS brides. New South Wales Acting Police Chief Commissioner Peter Thurtell and Deputy Commissioner Dave Hudson said they were aware the ISIS brides were set to return to Australia from Syria.
Commissioner, we've heard most recently that the ISIS brides are now being smuggled back into Australia by the federal government. Does the New South Wales Police have a role in this repatriation at all?
I will hand over, without deferring the question, I will hand over to Mr Hudson because he has had some communications in relation to that, if that's okay.
We are still working through that issue with the Commonwealth. The roles have yet to be finalised between what New South Wales Government, including the New South Wales Police Force and the Commonwealth's roles will be. No doubt we will have a role, as will broader New South Wales Government, as we have done with previous returning brides of foreign fighters and children of such.
And Dave Hudson even confirmed that he was having meetings with the Commonwealth next week about this in Canberra.
As I said, the roles of each agency have yet to be determined. If the AFP don't play as significant a role as they have previously, we will. We'll have to work that out, which I've got some meetings next week in Canberra, aligned with the Australian-New Zealand Counter-Terrorism Committee meeting, where I'll try and explore that further.
This was just hours after Albanese claimed nothing to see, the reports were all incorrect. Now, opposition leader Susan Lee and Dan Tehan both said the Prime Minister had questions to answer about whether he misled the Parliament.
If you're being a little bit more accurate, maybe he even misled the Parliament because he knew exactly what I was asking.
So you think he's misled the Parliament?
It does seem like he has absolutely misled the Parliament.
There's no doubt the confirmation from the most senior police officers in New South Wales about the return of ISIS brides deeply embarrassed the Prime Minister. It's why, initially, Labor tried to interrupt and laugh off the question about this matter today in Parliament.
Last night, Sharri Markson revealed on Sky News that Deputy Commissioner Dave Hudson... Mr Speaker.
Order. I'm not sure why there was such a reaction, but I want to hear... I don't know. Order. So the Leader of the Opposition will start a question again. There's going to be silence.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister, and I refer to his answer yesterday where he rejected reports that ISIS brides were coming to Australia. Last night, Sharri Markson revealed on Sky News that Deputy Commissioner Dave Hudson had confirmed New South Wales Police were, quote, working through that issue with the Commonwealth, end quote, and that New South Wales Police will meet with the AFP next week in relation to this matter. Can the Prime Minister explain this contradiction?
Thank you. There is no contradiction between my answer yesterday was absolutely correct.
And the whole behaviour, it's so childish. Apparently they want to laugh at journalists who are actually holding them to account. They don't like the scrutiny. But there's also a great hypocrisy around this issue. The Albanese government has denied visas to Israeli politician Simcha Rothman, former Israeli Minister Ayelet Shaked and Jewish advocate Hillel Fuld. And Ed Husick has also asked Penny Wong if Australians serving in Israel against Hamas are foreign fighters. The Albanese government is tough on Jews, Jewish Israelis. But for members of a death cult, they take a soft approach. They're trying to allow them back into the country without any accountability or transparency at all. And they refuse to be honest about this, pretending they have nothing to do with the decision and they're giving no assistance. It's not how government works. Albanese is enabling them to come to Australia. Their arrivals don't happen magically. It's a deliberate decision. But this is the nature of the current Albanese government. Tough on Israelis, soft on death cults.